This is what you call a poorly balanced PID. You sit here and watch your reference signal coming in. It adjusts very quickly and is all over the place. The same thing, it corresponds to your hertz. And this drive is constantly just up and down, up and down, up and down. Puts a tremendous amount of stress on your pump. And so what you're listening to is this pump is, or the EMS has a DP it's watching off the pump. And it's responding accordingly to that DP. Now, it is possible that DP sensor is having issues, but last time I checked it, it was working fine. It was the automation is just, it's overreacting. The PID is moving too quickly for what the loop's actual demands are, so you'll never get that flat baseline reading. That pump's gonna always be just up, down, up, down, up, down. Anyway, we're getting ready to redo this plant controls anyway, so this will be something I'll make sure I bring to my automation team's attention so that we can get it addressed. So as you can see, the problem here is going to be that 110 leaving. That is not accurate. That 56 is. So it's a YVAA York. Compressors kept ramping up and overloading. And that leaving water sensor right there on top. At first, I thought it may have been just a bad connection. But after I unplugged it and looked at the inspection, plugged it back in, came back, and it started working for about 5 minutes. That was pretty much it. Chiller barely got started coming up, and then I heard it start ramping up considerably again. I mean, shoot, it's not that warm today. See if I can get the, I think I passed it up. There it is. Yeah, it's only 57 right now. So anyway, it was ramping up way more than it should have, and a lot faster than I was expecting it to. So I went back and checked that leaving water sensor again, and sure enough, it had gone right back to 110. So I still got, I think the customer has 2 months left on this warranty. So I'm waiting to hear back from JCI about coming out to do warranty replacement on that sensor and get them fixed up. So got this flow switch we got to replace. It's going up there. Still letting the pipe drain pressure. Anyway, just getting it prepped right now. As you can see, so the flow, the switch is going to push back this way. I don't know if you can hear that click. So it's just a real slight movement, it's all it takes. One thing I do is I've doubled up these long paddles. There's 2 of them there. And then I've put one shorter one on the back side. I usually do 3 paddles thick. Whenever I'm setting these up, that gives that paddle a real nice rigidity. And it'll help it last a lot longer down the road. I went ahead and I've got it pre-Tefloned. I got my knockout ready to go. I've got everything ready to where all I got to do is just unthread the other one the rest of the way, yank it out, slide this one in, thread it down, and we're good to go. One of the tricks I found that helps me when I'm trying to think about, how I need to apply my Teflon, you always want to apply it with it going with the direction you're threading in, so that you threading the switch in or the valve, whatever it is, as you thread it in, it doesn't unwind the Teflon. So what I found is the direction that I'm turning, I have the Teflon pointed that way. So if I'm spinning this way to thread it in. That's the direction I've got my Teflon facing against. That way whenever it starts to thread, it instead of loosening it, because it's all going to overlap itself, instead of loosening it, it's actually going to be tightening it in that process. So anyway, that's just a quick way I always remember how to do it, so that I don't have to sit there and spend a couple of minutes each time trying to think about, alright, which way is the right way to go here. Anyway, we'll get this switched out and off to the next one. Well, that was fun. Gotta love it when valves don't hold. Anyway, so one of the reasons why I think this switch failed, or more accurately wasn't working, you can still hear the click. I haven't tested it yet, but let's see if we're getting a beep on it or not. I know. Okay. Yep. I was right. So this flow switch is perfectly fine, come to find out. But here's why it didn't work. You can't have these short of paddles when you have, I think this is probably an 8-inch pipe. And then they've got a 1.5 inch, nipple on top of that. And they were using just a little 4-inch paddle. Now whoever did it, I mean, they had the right idea. They had the backup support on there. So, I mean, they had that right. And I can tell you why they did it this way. They did it this way because it shows the chill water pipe is you've only got just a couple of inches above the switch. And so it's actually pretty difficult to get the longer paddles in. But the difference is you have to slightly bend the paddles into the nipple to thread it down in there, and that is what the previous technician did not do, and that was his fatal mistake. So I think this switch has been good the entire time, but I'm very confident I don't think it's worked since it's been installed ever. So I did end up getting in the longer paddles, so I got about another 4 inches on top of that. It's twice the length of this one in there, and I've already tested it, proved that it's working perfect. Get to turn the pump on and it closes right up. So anyway, guys, it's where just paying attention to detail and being confident in what you work and just being resourceful is really important. Anyway, that wraps up this one. I got to clean up all this water because yeah, that was a fun time, and move on to the next one. Alright, so we're doing a VRV startup today down in San Antonio at a company. Do the install, and we got called in as a third-party startup. So just going through getting the final control wiring set in, trying to beat the rain, waiting on them to finish some pressure testing so we can get the vacuum going and get it charged up. We still got to measure the line set lengths so we know how much refrigerant to add. We got master slave 2 cells with I think 15 indoor heads. They're going to be expanding to 17 in a few months. So yeah, another day on the job. Alright, so we're doing this startup on this VRV. Got the line set calculations going. So you calculate your pipe length, then you calculate your branch selectors, then you got to calculate your outdoors, and this is additional charge to the factory charge. And then you've got to calculate your total system capacity charge based off of your indoors. Now we're actually we're actually a little over capacity for the indoors that we're going to be using. So that's fine. What that means is that you know, it makes our calculation a whole lot easier. So anyway, this is the basic setup, and right now they've had some leaks. This I'll give a plug to Nylog here. They've been having leaks on all their flares going into the fan coils. So I just gave them a bottle of Nylog. They're going back through and redoing all their flares and putting Nylog on it. So they could not get all the leaks to stop before the Nylog. We're about to take lunch. We come back, we're going to see how well that Nylog did, and I'm kind of curious to see if it fixes everything for them. Well, today turned out pretty interesting. They were supposed to have everything ready for us when we got on site. You know, the leak tests, the vacuum, they were supposed to already have some charge on the system. We were just going to make the final calculations, top it off, yada yada, and then do the actual commissioning. But that's not what happened. They still had some leaks in the system. We finally got that sorted out after lunch, we thought. So we did a vacuum. Vacuum wasn't really doing quite right, so then I did a standing vacuum test, and it horribly failed. It went from 4,700 microns to over 25,000 in a matter of a couple of minutes. So, and I'm reading from opposite end of the system with a micron gauge that my TES 8 is. So, needless to say, they still got leak issues they need to figure out. I'm just third-party commissioning, so I'm scheduled to go back next week and finish up and try to get the job completed. They're supposed to have all the at least all the leaks fixed by that point, and then from there I'll probably have to pull the vacuum myself still, which will take a few hours on those types of systems, and then I will be I'll be able to charge it up, do the commissioning, yada yada. Anyway, that's a wrap for today. Tomorrow morning I got a bunch of admin stuff, so I'm probably not going to shoot any footage, so I think this will be a wrap for the week. Anyway, really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all the support. I'm sorry I've been kind of absent for a few weeks now. Things have just been insane, and it's been really hard to get time to put content out. So this week was a good step on things kind of toning down, and I'm hoping the next few weeks will continue to kind of help with that process.